Hello, Josie here. Are you ready for the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and are you sure? Okay, here we go. I talked about how basically a war was declared on me since before birth. And the reason why war was declared on me was because of God's calling over my life. There are people that wanted what God had blessed me with, or what God was going to bless me with. So they believed that if they stepped in my shoes prior to me receiving the blessing, and they did so by sabotaging and or setting me up, they believed that they would win and they would be successful at claiming my spot, so to speak. I was reminded by Father God around when I was 10 years old. We were at church, like we were a lot of the time. I really do believe that my mother, the reason why she went to church, I believe that she went to church for others, for people, for status, for popularity. She did not go to church for God. She involved herself in certain areas of the church so that she would be seen in a good light. She would be respected and loved and liked, and she would have a position or hold a title within the church, which she did not hold at a younger age because she got pregnant out of wedlock. And when she got pregnant out of wedlock, the church, her mother's church, looked down on her. They made her feel ashamed. They talked about her behind her back. And my mother would talk about how her mother used to force her to go to the church. She didn't want to go to church. She didn't want to go back to that church because everybody was talking about her. Everybody was bullying her. And, she felt ashamed because she had a child out of wedlock. And her mother forced her to go to church. But at the church, she was not able to hold any position. I don't even think that she was in the choir. I don't even think that she was in the choir. But even my mother, she waged war against me, along with other people as well too. And when she found the church through my godmother, who I believe also waged war against me, she was able to establish herself, so to speak. But it didn't happen overnight. Of course, it took some time, of course, for her to be seen and be held in a higher regard, to be put into a position. And even at my school, she was the president of the PTO committee. And, the kids at school, she had the liking of the kids at school, which she also used, intentionally. But I remember I was 9 or 10 years old, and I could feel this war, this battle, this war going on. From her, from my siblings, my father, from people around me. It was starting to come on a little bit stronger, I'm 19 years old, and I could even feel this. I could even sense this. And there was nothing really that I could do, at that age, at that time. There's nothing I could do except to deal with it and put up with it. And my mother felt very strong, very powerful, because I believe that she gave her vessel over to demonic forces, for certain things that she wanted. I believe that the devil came to her and told her, I'll give you this, and I'll give you this, and I'll do this for you, and I'll do this for you, but you have to do this for me. You have to sacrifice your child. You have to give your child to me. And my mother willingly did this because of what she was going to gain. It would have been a complete 180 from what she experienced in her youth and her teens. And she wanted to have this prosperous and abundant life and be held in high honor and high esteem within the church and within the community. And she played her part. Behind closed doors, she dropped her mask, but outside, she played her role in her position very well. And she tricked a lot of people. I remember when the war was waged over my musicality. I would sing when I was depressed. I would listen to music and I would sing and I would write lyrics and I would draw. And one by one, this parent, this mother, stripped me of each one. She wanted to silence my voice. She didn't want me to sing, and she knew I had a beautiful voice. But she wanted to sing. She wanted to have the musical abilities that I had. She was the one that wanted to draw. So me drawing, that was out of the question. She didn't want that to happen or occur with me. She wanted to be creative when I was creative. I remember I created this artistic corner in her dining room. And this was her basically testing me. At the time, I didn't see it like that, but it wasn't until later that I realized she was testing me. I created this little creative nook, and I used a whole bunch of like slat boards, white colored slat boards, and stacked them up. I took a sheet of fabric and draped it over these slat boards, and I put some ornament on top of it and just decorated this corner. I did it within like 5 minutes. And she loved it. She loved it. But underneath, she was furious. Now, why is it that he is able to figure this out, but I couldn't figure this out? And this was someone that liked to watch a lot of those crappy HGTV shows back in the day. You know, how to redecorate a room for $100, you know, so on and so forth. Some of them turned out nice, but some of them did turn out hideous, okay? She would watch all these shows all day long trying to figure out different ideas, but she could never put it together. She could never get it together. And I'd do something within 5 minutes. And that irritated her. That irritated her. You know, no matter what I did, even if it was good, even if it was great, even if it was wonderful, she had to tear it down. She had to break it apart. She had to make me feel less than, and she did it in the most covert ways imaginable. This is someone that even used my partner and spouse to try to subdue my musicality, my musical prowess. Wanting me to just basically give up on music, creativity, finding happiness, because she didn't have happiness. But she's the one who basically gave herself over to the devil so that she could get those things that she wanted, right? That she believed were so important that she didn't have because she made the wrong decision. So this was someone that wanted me to make the wrong decisions so that I would have a bad experience in life, and then I would have to turn myself over or give myself over to the devil for him to work through me so that I could get those things that I want, but then also never be free. Always be attached. Always have that darkness hanging over me because of my choice to engage in certain reckless behaviors, and I chose not to. Even when times were hard, when times were difficult, I chose not to. Even when things were put in my face, intentionally. Even the other day, happened right in front of my face, where it was intentionally put in my face how the devil will play during your times of trouble and your times of concern, causing you to further doubt what God has told you and promised you. And even I just got to the point where, you know what? I just look away and I start praying. I look away and I pray. I pray to God. Don't let the devil win. Do not let the devil be successful in his schemes and his tactics. They say that when you cut someone off, when you stop talking to someone, when you distance yourself from certain people because they're not good for you, they're not good for you, when you realize that they're against you, that they're wicked and that they're evil, and you distance yourself from them, God does not want you to turn back around and invite them back in, because that's basically saying, hey, come back and do that again, but do it to me worse. But when it's your own mother, you want to believe that they will change for you, that they will do right by you. I made the mistake. I had stopped talking to my parents. Because I realized all of what they had been doing. And part of me was angry, of course. And part of me was disappointed. I stopped talking to them for probably about a year and a half. I decided to forgive them, and I let them back in. By me doing that, they were able to have access to me, find out even more information, and plan an even bigger war to sabotage my life. I remember one day, my mother wanted to see me so bad because she was trying to do something. She was trying to set something up. She was trying to stage something. So I got this sense telling me to go and stop by my parents' house after work, which was probably about 10 minutes away. I walked through the door and my father turns to her or rather, speaks to her in a lower toned voice. Gives her an order after I leave as to what she needs to do. They basically summoned me to their house so that they could engage in warfare with me without me knowing that they were engaging in warfare with me. And I realized at that time they're still up to no good. They're still trying to destroy me. After all these years, they're still trying to destroy me. Some people don't give up until they can no longer continue to come at you. I'm even remembering a childhood peer at church. His name was Elliot. And this boy's been on my mind for a while now, and not in a good way, because I didn't really care for him then. His energy read very foul to me. A very arrogant, bougie type of energy from him. And his mother, the same thing. I remember when I went over to their house, we were supposed to go roller skating. And this was after church. And I found it very odd, but it was a setup. It was all a setup. Go back to their house. And I didn't even understand as to why we went back to their house, but went back to their house. His father comes down the stairs and speaks. Does not really engage with me other than a brief hello. Makes a couple of comments. And then goes back upstairs. And then we immediately get out of there. And we're heading back to church. And I didn't understand as to why, but they did whatever they needed to do to try to wage war against me as a family themselves. To try to take gifts away from me or blessings away from me. They wanted to read my energy. And I didn't understand it at the time. I just found their actions and behaviors very weird. They had to convince me by saying, oh, we're going to go roller skating, something that I used to enjoy doing, just so that I would feel comfortable going with them over to their house so that they could engage in whatever they were going to engage in. This Elliot, his mother, was the one that helped in delivering me in the hospital. She was a nurse. So she was there the night that I was born. So she was also a part of whatever witch, war, whatever you want to call it, that they were engaging against me. And she thought I was unaware, but I was very much so aware of what they were doing. That's why when I say, there are a lot of us, God's children, that have been waged war against since birth. And at different stages and phases of our lives, certain people come in to read our aura, to read our energy, to steal, siphon from us, attack us, drain us, and then go and act as if they're the one that God called to do certain things when they're not. I'm sharing this with you because this is something that God's chosen children have to go through. We're not all born into families that love us. A lot of us are born into families that hate us because they know what we carry, they know who we belong to, they know what we're called to do on this earth, and they do any and everything to try to sabotage it and deter us from being able to do so, even killing us. And they'll use any and everybody to come at us, especially if they can be guaranteed something of ours that they want. I'm going to leave it at that. Gotta go. Bye.